Alright gang, welcome back to our Broke to Billionaire Challenge on Ohio Richlands. You join me, it's still actively December, and we're still working through some of the things that we kind of left off in the last episode. The workers over across the way, they're drilling that field. We've got to finish doing the spraying of this field. We've got straw to pick up on that field, and yeah, the workers still mowing. I think they're almost done mowing though, but they're still working, they're still mowing over there. So a number of things to do today. A couple other things to note. This field, we were thinking about potentially buying it. It has been harvested, unfortunately, so we can't. This field that we did own at one point, I'm kind of considering being a little cheaty and buying it and harvesting it and then selling it right back to them, just to make a little extra money. We might do that. We might not. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes. Regardless, we got to get the straw up first and foremost, and then we're going to have to re-drill at least this side of the field. I don't know if I'm going to drill that one yet until that field back there is done, because I'm going to kind of combine those together. If that doesn't make sense, it'll make more sense when you see it. But so we kind of have to make some decisions here, I guess, about what we're going to do. We also have some other fields, but they're way down here that we could buy that are ready to harvest. Excuse me. One's a cotton field, which we have plenty of cotton right now, so it's not really a concern. If we wanted to put down another production for making clothes, absolutely, we could utilize that, and maybe we will. But at current, we have enough of cotton at current and you know, wool and everything else. We've got plenty of that being made at Grandma's house. So if we were to go that path, we would, like I said, have to put down another production for that. So that's a choice as well to make. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. I think everything else as far as harvesting goes, this is corn, so not really a whole lot else as far as harvesting goes. Now, the one thing to note with the cotton harvester, I don't have a speed header on it, or whatever you want to call it. So it would take us a while to harvest that. It would not be a one episode situation to harvest that. So you kind of have to factor that into play too. I guess is what I'm trying to get at, right? But how's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing well. At the time of this recording, I actually leave to go to the country tomorrow. It won't be when you're watching. When you're watching, it'll be close, I think, to me coming back. I clearly did not succeed in getting an episode out every single day, unfortunately. It just work and everything just got in the way. I think I mentioned that in the last episode, but just reiterating that today is the day before I leave, and there's going to be quite a number of days where there's not an episode. So if you stuck with me, I appreciate it, and I apologize. I guess it's not really ahead of time anymore. I guess it's kind of after time, but to me it still feels ahead of time because I haven't left yet. Either way, long-winded apology once again, but we'll be back in the groove real soon. As a matter of fact, at this point, it's not really a spoiler anymore. There should only be 2 series is currently running on the channel. This one and the 100 horsepower challenge. Now, the 100 horsepower challenge series, realistically, it probably could have been close to, if not already done, if I really wanted it to. But remember, we talked about that series and how my main goal, which it's not really a set in stone goal, but it's an attempt, is to try to get the 250,000 without utilizing the trees to get there. And what I mean by that is just selling trees to get the 250,000, right? If we're selling the trees to buy more land and, equipment, etc., that's one thing. But attempt to not get there by utilizing the forestry stuff to accomplish that goal. Now, certainly, I'm not keeping track of it or anything like that. So, there's obviously going to be some of it that's from the wood, but as long as you don't make it, you don't overdo it, right? You make it realistic-ish, in the sense that you didn't just cut down, 150, 200 trees and make them wood chips and just sell them just to get the 250,000, right? I'm sure that makes sense. Better than what I just explained it as. It's been a day today, gang, so bear with me. Let's see, how are we doing here? Just this section up here, and this is done, okay? So we'll drive down here. I guess we are driving. We'll drive down here and touch this little section up, and then the spraying's done, which is good. And then we're going to have to flip to doing the forage wagon with the straw, right? Now, we have plenty of straw still. We're still pumping through all the straw we have in the silo over there, but the only other thing we could do with it is get the, which I haven't downloaded. I know a lot of you have mentioned it. I just haven't implemented it yet. Trying to go through the fast bale situation where we bale up the straw in a fast bale format where, you know, that could help speed it up and turn it into silage for us. Now, we could just sell that outright, or we could put it in the BGA. Realistically, you probably throw it into the BGA because the one BGA is really fast, right? So you make a little bit more money off of it. And then this, obviously, the digestate makes us a ton of money, right? So, but with the inevitable note that needs to be made with me unfortunately not able to get as many of these episodes done before that as I would like, I'm now questioning even getting to 100 million. I think it's still within realm, or within reach, because of the fact that we literally only have this series and the Ohio Richlands series. I cannot talk today. I apologize. Given the fact we only have this series, which is the Ohio Richlands series, and the 100 horsepower challenge series left at the time of this recording, we have a lot more time to focus on this, right? When I get back, we're going to be back into the daily video grind again, right? And realistically, the 100 horsepower challenge will probably be twice a week, more than likely, something like that. So really, you're getting 5 days of this series. Maybe a little overdone, a little overplayed at that point, but it will definitely help us. It's just unfortunate that there's going to be a bit less than what we probably could do if I wasn't going out of the country for so long, and I was if I was able to get a video done every day, I guess is what I should say, right? But nonetheless, I've vented a lot and ranted a lot about that specific item. Not well. I've not been using my words well today. I promise. I am not drunk. I promise. I haven't even had a thing to drink today. It's just been loopy, I guess. Just a little bit of a loopy day, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it. Anyway, let me put this away. We'll hook up the forage wagon, the loading wagon, whatever you want to call it, and we'll start working on the straw here. All right, so I put that away, but I don't really know exactly why I put it away, because we're going to need it for this field, but whatever. We'll gloss over that. I told you, it's been a weird day. Bear with me for a minute here, gang. I don't know what's going on with me today, but we'll get through it. We've got to get the rest of this field drilled up. A worker thought he was done. Clearly, you and I can both tell that he is not done. So we'll work on this field. It's not much left. I just got to get the worker kind of set back on the right course here. Realistically, we'll probably just do it ourselves, having looked at what's remaining here, because there's not much, right? So we might as well just do it ourselves. Be easier than put it on a worker, because the worker's not going to go to the end of every pass anyway. Man, I don't know what's going on. I can't talk today. My throat's dry. I don't know what's going on. Perhaps I'm nervous or something for the trip. I don't know. Anyway, there's not much left to do here. I'm not going to do a time-lapse or anything for this. I'll just do a bit of a jump cut here. We'll get this section done. I'm basically going to go down to the end here, turn around, go up and down this area, a couple of passes, and it's going to be done. I think there actually is a tiny... well, that tree's kind of in the way, but if you look really, really far back in the left corner up near our silos, you can see a bit that the worker, I think, missed. And it probably was my own fault. I probably set him off on the incorrect path that caused that. But either way, we'll get that fixed up, touched up as well. And, yeah, so this one, literally, we're going to have to spray it. So, I have to go get the sprayer back out. And, yeah, we'll carry on. All right, this is pretty much done. I'm going to leave this out because we're going to be re-drilling that field right over there as soon as we got the straw up off of it, right? So, I don't know what I want to put in there yet. I haven't really thought that through. Actually, while we're doing that, we might be able to kind of think it through real quick here. So we've got soybeans, and another soybean. We've got one canola, a couple wheat fields here, a sorghum field here, and then our cotton fields, right? So we have so much straw right now, I don't really think we need a whole lot more straw. So I think what we'll do is another field of canola, I think. Yeah, let's do a second field of canola. We need it for the canola oil anyway, so we'll do another field of canola. I probably should top this guy up. Let me go do that really quick, and then we'll kind of bring this back over here. Just kind of sit there to the side, out of the way. We'll get the straw up off the field itself, and yeah, then we'll have to spray. All right, so I set the worker off going on the field here, gang, so it shouldn't take the worker too long. It's not that big of a field since we've got it all split up. What I'm going to do now is we're going to take the straw back, obviously, first. Then we need to pick up all this grass, and we're going to have to fertilize this field just to make sure we get the best yield out of the grass whenever we decide to mow it again, which may be a while. Probably not even May. It's going to probably be a while. Then, once that is all done, we got to get the sprayer back out like I talked about. Now, I probably won't put any of that on camera. I'll probably do most of that off camera, maybe. And then it's just going to be a decision on if we want to go the path of buying that field that we once had purchased just to harvest it and sell it back. Kind of cheaty. It's a lot cheaty, really. It's not even kind of. It's a lot cheaty. I'm going to grab the front windrower here for this, just to help assist us. And we're going to hook up to the one that we already have over there. We already have a forage wagon over there. Just run right into the tree there, Z. Good job, buddy. Because the one we have currently over here has got the straw in it, right? So we're going to utilize that straw and dump whatever we can, top it off in both the BGAs, and then we might even put a... Ooh, we just did a wheelie there. Front end wheelie. We might put a little bit in that silo there to turn it into manure. Not a ton, but a little bit. It still has, I think, 40-something thousand liters in there, so there's still enough. It's got enough to survive for now. Man, this thing is... Whew. So we're going to do a couple untraditional passes here. Might cause a little bit of issues for us, but we'll make it work. Just to give us a little bit more room to turn around since we've got the greenhouse there, the open air greenhouse there. Now, I think this will be able to fill up completely. I don't think we're going to have to make more than one trip, is what I mean, I guess, what I'm trying to get at. I don't think we're going to have to unload what's in the loading wagon, the forage wagon. I think we'll be able to pick all of it up that's on the field here. So, not that concerned about it. It can just kind of stay in here. We might put a little bit of it in the silo to make silage, though, because I don't think we're going to need all of this, and it's going to be ready again probably before the sheep really need all of this. But certainly a good chunk of it we will keep in here just to be safe. This front windrower is fantastic, though, for doing stuff like this, especially with such small little rows here. How long it would take us normally. This is game-changing. Game-changing. Let me get this done. I just did a time lapse. I'm not going to do another one. I'll be back with you. All right, we're pretty much done here with the grass here. I'm going to leave the front windrower down here. Now that we have the unrealistic header, and we're putting such massive straw pass out there, we don't really need this anymore for the main harvest, I don't think, personally. So we're going to keep it over here for the mowing of the grass. Does also mean we probably are going to have to switch the tractors we have over here to this one, right? Move the New Holland back to the other side. Now, the New Holland back on the other side is not going to be able to do a whole lot, unfortunately, but that's probably what we're going to have to do. It's just the nature of the beast, I guess, at this point, right? We have built a beast. We don't really have the money to show for it, but we have built a beast. So I don't think the sheep need a whole lot here. We can top them off, but since we're in the same day as the last episode, they shouldn't need a whole lot. I mean, probably none. Probably won't even move the needle here, but we can see if they'll accept any of it at all. I think it was like 10 liters, I think. It wasn't even that much. I'm going to put this front windrower. I'm just going to kind of lay it over here by this tree. It's not really the most ideal situation for it, but... Now, we have grass over here between the potato factory and the open-air greenhouse that we could mow. I'm not going to worry about it. It's fine. We lose a little bit of grass out of it. Whoop-de-doo. So let's take some of this. Probably 100,000 of it, right? 100,000 liters of it. And drop it in our silo. Turn it into silage. As a matter of fact, I'll do a quick save here. Make sure we don't have the game freeze or anything like that. Some of you may have known if you were watching my campaign playthrough, as I called it. I ran into some issues on one of the campaign maps, and I don't really want that to occur again, so we're going to make sure that doesn't occur again by making sure we're saving. Alright, here we go. We're unloading. Well, it was a little bit more than 100,000, but close enough. So we'll keep the rest of it. We'll keep the 17,538 liters of this in here. We need to fertilize that field over there, like I said. Realistically, we probably should be looking to upgrade or utilize something else for the fertilizing, right? The one we have is great, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with it, but it is a smaller width and it does take a while. So I'm going to take this back over here, drop this off, and we're going to jump straight into the other loading wagon that's hooked up to the John Deere and take the hay, or the straw, excuse me, not the hay, the straw, and drop it off in all the different locations like we said we were going to do. And then we got to fertilize this field, and then we got to get the sprayer out. And then we decide if we want to do any harvesting or not. Alright, so we're going to try to do this as fast as we can. The worker's getting close to the end there. I got to keep an eye on them. You know how our workers are on this map. They have a mind of their own, and they go places that we don't want them to go. So I want to make sure the worker doesn't happen to come over into this field and start drilling this field, because that has happened more times than I'd like to admit in this series. We got at least a little bit more time here, so we'll probably be okay. I'm not even going to drop anything in the silo that turns into manure. I'm not even going to worry about it. There's still plenty in there. We're probably going to have another harvest at some point, so I'm not that concerned about it. Awesome. Took the rest of the straw. I'll have to put any more in the silo there. Good, 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 good. All right, so for now, just set this right here for now. Let's get the sprayer out. I think we're going to do the spraying first. Well, at least get the spraying started. Because we can just kind of follow up the worker there. I should never have put this away, but, you know, dumb me not thinking. Go figure. We can top this up while we're here. We really aren't making as much money as I had anticipated with all these productions we've put down. I really was expecting to be making a lot more money than we are. It's a little unfortunate. I really thought these productions were going to be the key to getting us to, you know, 100 million. Really, that's our goal now, and it's just not. It's not working like I was expecting. It's taking much longer than I had anticipated or expected. So, yeah. Kind of sucks. It's kind of why I'm thinking, you know, buying that field there, harvesting it quick, just grabbing the soybeans out of it and just put them in storage. Or we can turn them into flour, but probably just put them in storage because we've got so much flour going on now. We don't really need it. I don't... Uh-oh. That's not the full distance. There we go. Don't think we really need a whole lot more flour, I guess is what I'm trying to get at. So maybe just keeping the soybeans for now, and then eventually if we do need it, we can always fill it up. But just trying to sell some crop here at this point, right? We've got a lot of stuff and a lot of different productions that's taking a long time to get through them. It's not that we're not making money. We probably are making more money in the long run, but it's just taking us a long time to get there. So I think at this point it might be time to start considering, like I just said, of actually just storing stuff yet again like we did early on and then selling it when it's best to sell it, right? Especially now that we have that unrealistic header. Allows us to harvest things so quickly that we could harvest a lot of fields. Now, if we do decide to buy that field there, I really don't want to get into a habit of doing that. I did it once before, but I don't want to just keep buying stuff and then reselling it. That's just really, really cheaty. So, you know, that's kind of why I'm leaning towards the other way, leaning towards not doing it, but I'm also kind of wavering on it a little bit due to the fact of how far behind we are, right? So, I don't know. I'll think about it some more, I guess, before the end of this episode and make my decision at that point. It's probably going to be a no. Probably going to be a no. Well, maybe some of the small fields we can do that on, because the small fields aren't... You're not going to make that much off of the small fields, but the big fields, definitely not. That's why we bought these bigger fields over here, right? And we kept them. We've re-drilled them already. So... Yeah, I think no, unless it's a small field like the one across the way there. Which, it's funny that I call it a small field now, because it used to not be a small field. That used to be one of the, well, it wasn't the biggest by any means, but one of our bigger fields, right? It was in the middle to big. It's funny how as you move along different series, you gain bigger and bigger equipment, and things that initially seemed to be really large fields all of a sudden now don't seem to be that big anymore. Alright, so we got to keep an eye on the worker here. He's getting ready to turn around. I just want to make sure that he is not going across into the other field. I mean, I did a headland pass. At least one full headland pass, so he shouldn't be. But you just never know with these guys or girls or whoever's doing it. You just never know, man. He seems to still be going in the actual field, so we can just kind of turn and follow him and make sure. That way I can jump and grab him really quick if he starts to go the wrong way. Now, we don't necessarily have to get the herbiciding done in this episode, and what I mean by that is we don't have to get it done in December, right? So that field over there we drilled, or we finished drilling, I guess, in this episode, at the beginning of the episode. We do not need to herbicide that field today if we don't want to. We can always do it in the next one. We can always wait till it germinates before we herbicide it. Normally we like to just kick them out, at the same time. Just knock out two birds with one stone, do it in the same day. You don't have to worry about it, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't start. Don't start. He is starting. You idiot. Bunch of morons, man. I'm telling you. These workers I hire, they're idiots. Alright. I'm just going to set them there for right now. Oh, shit, I forgot to turn off the freaking spray. I'm just wasting spray. Shit! I'm going to get around the headland here again, and then I'm going to throw this on a worker, and, well, the worker's probably going to screw up this, but it is what it is. At least we should be able to move the worker away. Well, we might waste a little bit of the actual herbicide, but we can at least move him from where he is without really killing any crop, or as long as I'm able to select him and get him to move and him or her know where they are from the menu, then we won't really have a big issue. Okay, let's realign this. This will go on a worker. Worker can do this. I'm going to keep an eye on the worker, but the worker can do this. This is the most terrible lineup job you've ever seen. Forgive me. Yeah, what a weird episode this has been. I can't talk. I can't do anything. It's a weird episode, man. Weird. I'm telling you, I think it's because I'm antsy for the trip a little bit, right? Making sure I don't forget anything. A lot of people told me to be very careful there, that there's a lot of pickpocketers there, so that's new to me. I've been some places that, well, I don't think they're really that. I mean, I guess it is. So for work, this is, what was this? 8 years ago now? Yeah, 8 years ago, 2016. For work, I went to the Philippines for a while, almost 2 weeks, and not that there's anything super bad there, but Al Qaeda and everything else was there at that point, right? So you could easily get kidnapped, but didn't really have any major issues when I was there. Besides just everybody looking at me and staring at me. Because clearly I don't look like they do. So they're staring at me. So. But otherwise it was relatively fine. But I really didn't venture that far from the area that I was in. Some of you know, I've talked about it many times, that I like to play poker, right? So they had a casino that was like a mile away. And they didn't tell me about it till the last day when I was getting ready to leave. I was so upset about it. I could have been playing blackjack and everything else for like 20 cents on the dollar. Yeah, see, this is what I was afraid of. The worker's not even going to be able to do this. We're going to have to do it ourselves. So I might as well just continue on right while I'm talking to you. But yeah, anyway, so there was a casino there. It was like a mile away. And I could have been playing, blackjack for 20 cents or whatever. It would have been great. Instead, I mostly just... I mean, I didn't entirely, but because it isn't really safe most of the places, right? So I pretty much stayed in the hotel in the mall that was connected to the hotel that I was in. It's a big culture shock there in the Philippines. Very pretty, but it's a culture shock, man, and it really is. Where I was at, it was relatively, I guess I would consider it, the Philippines perspective, I guess, higher up, I guess. But, I mean, you could see just outside the window of the hotel rooms, right? You could see shacks and stuff, what they would live in. It's kind of sad, but it's also very humbling to see how we live here in America and what we complain about in comparison to third world countries like that, right? Got to meet, when I was there, I'm kind of going on a rant here, just forgive me, I told you, it's already kind of screwed up the whole episode at the beginning with not being able to talk straight, so I might as well just talk about whatever the hell's on my mind today, right? When I was there, I talked to one of the bartenders at the hotel, and very nice guy, still relatively keeping contact with him, nothing crazy, but, you know, we send hellos every once in a while, and how you doing kind of thing. But I was... So at night after work, well, I say at night after work, really, I was working the hours of here. I live in Ohio, right? Eastern time zone in America. I was working the hours of the Eastern time zone of the Philippines, which means I was working in the middle of their night. So literally right smack dab in the middle. It was like midnight, right? When I'm working. So I was saying my night, but really it was like their morning. I'm like, so I would be talking to this bartender at the hotel, right? And, drinking some Filipino beers, and it cost me, like, I think 12 cents a beer. Now, I didn't go crazy or anything like that otherwise. I mean, I definitely could have, but, I'm there for work, so I didn't go crazy, but still, 12-cent beers? You kidding me? It was cool. I'll never be able to say that again. I'm sure they're not 12 cents anymore at this point. But they had other beers, like they had beers that they weren't just like Filipino beers. Like they had like Budweiser and Heineken, which I was actually surprised. I wasn't really expecting them to have that. I was expecting Heineken, right? But I wasn't really expecting Budweiser, and then they had it. So I like. I'm a little more picky with food, but as far as drinks go, I like pretty much anything you put in front of me with it, unless it's like a licorice drink. I don't like licorice. That's pretty much it. That or raspberry. Licorice or raspberry stuff, if it's anything like that, don't put it in front of me because I don't like it. It'll make me sick. But anything else you put in front of me, I'm probably going to drink it. Or I'm at least going to try it. Even if I don't love it, I'll still drink it. But I got to try a lot of different... gins and whiskeys and stuff like that, which was kind of cool. Because being in Ohio, granted, it's not Kentucky, but I'm literally right next to Kentucky. I live pretty much on the Bourbon Trail for the most part. I mean, it takes me to get to pretty much most areas of big bourbon. And when I say big bourbon, I'm talking about the big boys. I'm talking, Jim Beam. I'm talking Woodford, I'm talking Four Roses, I'm talking Wild Turkey, I'm talking Buffalo Trace. The big boys, right? All of those, hour and 15 minutes maybe from my house, hour and 20. I mean, I'm basically on the outskirts of the Bourbon Trail. So I'm very lucky to have that. So it was interesting to me to try some of these other ones that they thought were good, and I'm like, it's not bad. I can certainly drink it, but I'm like, this is not good. This is not good in comparison to what we're used to, right? But I'm sure it was probably dirt cheap too, right? So you got to factor that in. Okay, so that field is sprayed. We do have to spray that field over there, but again, like I said, I'm going to wait till the next episode to spray that one. Yeah, I think we're going to leave the episode here at this point, gang. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button and the subscribe button as well if you haven't done that. They're both free to do. Absolutely helps my channel out more than you can possibly imagine. We've got some good stuff coming up, man. I've got some great ideas for FS25. I know I've told you already there's going to be a slight delay before I start my FS25 videos because I will be out of the country for work yet. So I'll be out of the country for a little bit of pleasure, for a year elapsed honeymoon, since we didn't take a honeymoon when we got married a year ago. And then back for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, and then I'm right back out of the country again for work, but just going to Toronto, so it's at least a little bit different, I guess. Not that far away. But in any case, I've got some great ideas I've got planned. I want to see what the rest of the guys come up with, and I say the rest of the guys, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the crew. I'm talking about Milk That Hen. I'm talking about Farmer Mike. I'm talking about Crustu, Rusty. Maybe Northern Farm Sim comes back. Who knows, right? There's a lot of guys that I'm talking about that I want to see what they come up with, and then maybe I make my decision on if I want to follow in their footsteps and doing a challenge or something that they may come up with, or we might just go a completely different path and do my own. I'm also working on, for those of you that are considering and are already a member, I'm working on a members-only, I don't know if it's going to be a challenge yet or not. I haven't fully decided that. But anyway, a members-only series, which you will have access to if you become a member. Probably once a month, maybe twice a month. We'll see. It may vary depending on my time, right? But at least something extra, just to give you guys a little bit more of a thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll carry on, gang. There's going to be a lot of these coming, like I said, because I'm going to be doing nothing but this series and the 100 Horsepower Challenge series at this point until FS25 is complete. What is complete? Is released, and I'm back home and able to do it. So, hope you enjoyed it yet again. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.